Hi, this is Heather Picken, and welcome to the Woman on Fire Entrepreneur Podcast. How to break through anything, become unstoppable, and be profitable. Learn how to align your mind. Yeah, I call that activating your money mojo. Market to your ideal clients and make money doing what you love. Tired of struggling and trying to figure things out? Do you tend to stop when things get tough? Well, I'm here to steer the ship out of the sea of overwhelm so that you can attract money and success in your business now. Grab your favorite beverage, let's fire it up, get inspired, and live life at your highest potential. Here's Heather with her co-host Chihuahua, Frankie Lee. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Woman on Fire Entrepreneur Show. I am your host, Heather Picken, and I'm always inspired to bring you, some of the most amazing guests all around the world to help you with your inspired mission and purpose in your business. And I love the topic today. This topic is so important. Talking about success is messy, and boy, do I know that. So I want to welcome my guest, Loren Fogelman. Loren, thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, absolutely, Heather. I can't wait to see what we do to get our topic on fire.
I love it. I love it. And before we go in really deep diving into this topic, if you could share with our viewers and listeners, just a little shortened version of, kind of your journey and how you help other people.
Sure. What I would say is I am a therapist turned business coach. So I've been helping people get unstuck, get out of their own way for a long, long time. And I recognized about 2009, it was time to move in a different direction. And I was searching for something. That's when I became aware of coaching. But the other thing that found me, Heather, that I didn't even know I was looking for, was I became a competitive rower. And becoming a competitive rower made me so aware of how I needed to get out of my own way in order to fully show up. So what I saw is as I was growing my business, as far as business coaching and competitive rowing, some of it was good, some of it was bad, and some of it was really, really ugly. But my desire to be the best I could possibly be is what kept me going no matter what. And what I've realized is, if it's uncomfortable, then I absolutely ought to be doing it. And I've really brought that full circle back into what I do with the people I get to work more closely with.
I love that. I love that. And I just want to go off on a little tangent here. Sure. Because you're talking about, doing rowing and, being, you said it's competitive, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's interesting because my background is in bodybuilding and fitness. Mm-hmm. And wouldn't you agree? Like, you've got to have that mental awareness, that sharpness kind of, ingrained in your brain to be disciplined, right?
Well, not what I saw was I've been doing sports psychology for the past 6 years while I was doing business coaching also, and that entrepreneurs and competitive athletes have more similarities and differences. They're just wearing different uniforms.
Right.
Uniforms, and we get to wear pretty shoes.
Exactly.
but that there were more similarities and differences, and so it was really bringing that mental game piece into how I work with business entrepreneurs. That was like the missing link.
I love that. And I totally agree with the mindset piece because, when I was competing, and one of the reasons why I wanted to compete is like I had issues with my own body. Mm-hmm. I was self-conscious and I never thought I could go out there and compete on stage. And when I did it, I'm like, wow, if I can do this, what else can I do? I got third place in my first bodybuilding show. Then I was Miss West, Ohio, or Miss West. Oh gosh, that's a mouthful. But anyways, what you're saying is so true. It's like the mindset is so powerful, and using that as a tool in your business. And let's talk about, because here's the thing: people are watching us. They're seeing this show. It's produced. We're all made up and whatever. And they're not really seeing like behind the scenes, like what is happening mentally, physically. All the things that can be messy when it comes to building a successful business. So I want to talk about some of the mistakes. So what do you find that people are really doing when it comes to stopping themselves, blocking themselves from their own success?
Sure. What I have seen is that no matter how you're wired, at some point you're going to feel like you're just running into a brick wall. And I have recognized that people have one of three responses. The first person slams into that brick wall and they come to a complete halt. They say, nope, I shouldn't be doing this. I'm going to go back to what I had been doing before. And they retreat back to their comfort zone.
Right.
And those are the people who are risk adverse, and I call them retreaters, because they'd much rather stay in their comfort zone with that sure thing than go ahead into the unknown and take those risks. Now, that second person also slams into that brick wall, but that person is going to step back, say, I need to do more research. Maybe I need more alphabets behind my name. I might need to figure out the game plan because I want to know all the steps. I don't like those surprises. And then once they have that plan figured out, then they go ahead, get back in it, and move forward again. The third person,
I love that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it happens to some of us. And the third person also slams into that brick wall, and that person is the go-getter. They're looking for any way around it, above it, through it. No matter what, they're not going to let that obstacle stop them. And that person is really the innovative person. They're the implementer. So they recognize that that brick wall is just that they need to make a course correction. It's not that they're great or they're horrible or they should quit or keep going. It's just a course correction for them. And they recognize the power of momentum and not letting momentum stop them because there's someone right behind them that's right on the heels and wants their place. So if they stopped, they would really lose that, and it takes more energy to start and stop than to keep going. So
True.
You're a marinator or you're an implementer. And the really cool thing, Heather, is that if you see yourself as a retreater or a marinator and you're not happy, you can change that. But the other thing is that we're all retreaters, marinators, and implementers in some degree in our life. And to recognize that we have it all, and when something is really purposeful for you, then you don't let those obstacles get in your way any longer.
I love what you're saying. And I love how you have like three different categories, of how people operate. I know I've always been number three, and I always like working with people that make fast decisions. A lot of entrepreneurs, if you're studying leaders and very successful entrepreneurs, they're risk takers. They'll take calculated risks. They're no stranger to, I want to say, quote unquote, failure, because there's no such thing as failure unless you quit, which a lot of, I think people are so beaten down because they are injecting the values and beliefs of society, of other people. That can come in a form of a parent. You can't do that. Even a spouse. Like, I've seen this all the time in my business. Like, someone needs permission, to really step into their greatness. Like, why do you need permission? You've got to do what you are meant to do on this planet. And I cannot say enough about that. And, talking about this whole, success is messy. It's not linear. You're going to find, like you said, course correcting. So let's just say, we've got people out there listening on iTunes and watching. And if you're listening on iTunes, I encourage you to go over to heatherpicken.com, because there's a lot of magic happening. I always like to say that because, there's something about watching a video and getting that energy from the speakers. But, my whole point is, how do people get to the level, let's just say they have some success in their business, but they keep getting knocked down. They're second guessing themselves and doubting themselves. What is that next step that they should be doing in their own business evolution?
Well, what I see is that you have to grow in order to grow your business. And as you're stretching yourself beyond your comfort zone, you're going to be challenged by how you look at things, your truths, your limiting beliefs. Who do you think you are? All that stuff is going to come up, and it's an ongoing process. I look at it as an opportunity to have awareness of what something was going on under the surface, And now you get to look at it and decide whether it works for you and keep it, or to be able to shift it so it's really aligned with who you are and where you're going at this point in time. So anytime resistance comes up, sabotage, where you feel like you're in a struggle in some way, there's something on the inside that is a conflicting value, and it's about shifting it so that it's resonating and in the flow, as opposed to holding you back, because holding you back is a way of survival. And I want you to thrive. I want the people that I am connected with to succeed. And there's absolutely a way how, and it's so much faster. Just like I know that with somebody else helping you along the way than trying to figure it out yourself, because there's just stuff you can't see.
Oh my gosh. I think you really need to dive deep into this because it's so important. I want everyone to really listen to this, like close everything that you're doing out and really listen to this, because if you look at Olympic athletes, they hire coaches. Everyone that wants to step into greatness hires a coach. It is the fastest path to getting to what you want. If you hate wasting time. Now, I kind of want to challenge people, because people are going to say, well, I don't have the money. I think that's total crap.
Let me tell you something.
Money for what you value.
Let me tell you something right there. I have a bookkeeper. I know I want to pay attention to my books, but I don't want to be doing the work myself.
Right.
So I have a bookkeeper. The first year that I invested in my coach, she came back to me and said, oh my God, do you know that your business grew by 129% that year? So yes, it might feel you can't do it, you can't afford it, but what I also recognize is that I couldn't afford not to.
Exactly.
I had more questions and I had answers, and they were holding me back, and I didn't want to struggle with them any longer than absolutely necessary, because I knew the power of momentum. And Heather, I want to say that totally on the same page with you as far as athletes. The thing that's different between athletes and entrepreneurs is the higher an athlete climbs up the ladder towards the top, the more coaches that they have to really help that person achieve their full potential. And with entrepreneurs, we tend to be very independent. We're control freaks. We think we doing it ourselves. We want to have it look good because we don't want anybody calling us out as a faker or a fraud or anything like that. So we struggle.
Right.
And it's not necessary to do that. Look to athletes, recognize that they're doing something right. It applies to entrepreneurs also, because we're wired just like they are for greatness. And I absolutely love helping people put that stuff behind them, get out of their own way, and really step up and serve in the way that they're supposed to.
I love that. It's just so true. And I really want people that are watching and listening to this, the value of coaching, you can't afford it. And like Loren said, you can't afford not to do it. I know my biggest breakthroughs have been hiring mentors. One of my mentors, I mean, he's worth about $100 million. And, I like working with people that are on their A game, because that's where you're going to be able to grow and really learn from all those things. I mean, I just can't say enough about it. It's so important. If you want to do great things in the world, you really have to do that. You've got to invest in yourself. You also have to have a value on yourself. So when I hear people say, well, I can't invest in myself because my significant other won't let me, I just think that's total crap. Because when you're valuing yourself enough, you're going to have a supportive conversation to say, listen, I really want you to be on board with this. Not saying, I want to do this. There's a distinction in that conversation. And I feel people are playing way too small out there when they're subordinating to other people, authority figures, partners, friends, anything like that. So I love this conversation. And I want to talk about, this whole thing about success is messy. I want to share, I've got many personal stories, but I want to share my story, and I want you to share your stories. But I'm telling you, it's very vulnerable when you're sharing stories. But one of my messiness is I always kind of laugh at it, but I have been on this path of always attracting these crazy relationships where my business would go like this and then go down because I wasn't being true to myself. And I had one incident, and this is, far down the path, but I was in a relationship. and my business, I was freaking out. I'm like, what the heck is going on with my business? Because I was in this bad relationship. I was not being true to myself. I couldn't focus on my business. I was all over the place. And my aunt literally had to die in order for me to live again. And, like her death prompted me to get out of that relationship. And I almost lost everything. And so what I did a quick turnaround. I focused everything, my entire being, in building that up. And so within 45 days, I generated over 100,000 in my business. And when I first started, it took me 6 months or a little bit over 6 months to do that. And I'm just thinking about, and it's a story where like, gosh, that's kind of embarrassing, Heather. But at the same time, I'm like, I was a big mess. That mess was necessary, but I couldn't do it without, having a coach, because I was just like, what the heck is wrong with me? And so I was wondering if you could share, with our listeners and our viewers, maybe a story about yourself or someone else that has gone through the mess.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's, like you said, many to choose from, because it's not this linear path. It's more, it's fine with ups and downs. What I would say is, I've been doing sports psychology since 2009, as well as the business coaching, and really love the variety of the two. But what I saw is I did an online launch for the sports psychology, the mental game piece, and on the other end was crickets. Nobody, they showed up for the free stuff, but they didn't take the next step, and they didn't buy into the program that I was offering. It made me look at, what is it that I'm really meant to do? Who is it that I'm really meant to serve? And I'd been searching for how to blend the two together, the mindset piece of sports psychology with the business coaching part. And that created the opening for me to say, you know what? The people who are really stepping up are the entrepreneurs who are on a mission. They are meant to serve, and they know that. They just don't know how sometimes, or what to do next. Or they have some of that stuff where they know they're holding themselves back. And I made the decision that I was going to go ahead and put the sports psychology on a back burner. And that was like my heart thing. It was the sexy part of my business, Heather. And I grieved for about a day, because I don't dwell on stuff for too long. I grieved for a day, and then I got quiet, and just went under the surface and started putting things together so that I can make this transformation. I gave myself 3 months to rebrand myself, to get things together, to figure out my plan. And then I showed up on my unveiling date and declared, okay, this is what I'm doing. I'm claiming this space. This is who I am, who I'm meant to be serving, and why. And I will say, it was like the floodgates opened at that point, where the right people were showing up. People were applauding me. They were saying, I was waiting for you to do this. I had absolutely no clue. I thought I was going to do the sports psychology thing. And
I love it.
And so what I want to say is, my biggest breakthroughs came on the heels of something that could have been seen as a failure. But instead of doing that, or defining myself as I suck, I should quit and get a job, I went ahead and looked at, what is it that is really going on? How is it that I can serve people? And then, like I said, make that course correction as an implementer, and then move forward again. And then the breakthroughs are always so much better than you ever could have anticipated.
I love that story. And I think everyone that's, watching or listening to this, these stories are so important. I really want to, just have everyone take note, because we're no different than you. It's just, we've allowed ourselves to go through the mess in order to, take our businesses to the next level. Every successful entrepreneur goes through it. Just like every athlete is not perfect right out of the gate. They go through, their own kind of pain. And, trying to get better. They might have something that knocks them down, and they come to this whole realization of going, wow, I really need to be doing this. Or they get too cocky or too prideful. And when that happens, there's going to be someone or something to overpower them. So I just love that story that you're sharing. Like, you had a situation, nothing happened. You had a choice in that moment. You could say, you know what, I could get a job, or wait a minute, maybe I need to think about, where I need to do that course correction. So for people that are listening out there right now, they kind of like, and I'm sure you would agree that, you get in your own way, like your beliefs, your thoughts, and that sort of thing. So if someone's like, I've had a failure and I've spent a lot of money and I'm second guessing myself and I'm doubting myself, what would you say to those people right now?
Well, I would say that your best next move comes in the form that I've seen 3 things for those pivotal decisions that's going to really crack the code for you. And what you're going to look for is you've been asking for something, and it's going to come to you in the form of an opportunity. And that opportunity is going to be ill-timed because you already have other stuff maybe that you've been committed to. So it's ill-timed and it's inconvenient. Maybe you don't have the money to invest in it. So you start to question or doubt it. So it's ill-timed, it's inconvenient, and you expected it to come in some other way than how it's showing up. So it's easy to dismiss it or overlook it. So if you've been asking for something, you get an opportunity and if it's ill-timed, it's inconvenient and coming in a different way than you expected it to, I would say run with it and go with it.
I love it.
That is absolutely the thing that is being handed to you and you're supposed to be saying yes to.
I love that. It's so true because people tend to stop short of their goals because something doesn't work out. And your message is like, listen, you got to hang in there. It will come. I think, for me, and when I'm helping my clients, I'm like, when they're feeling like a little stuck, worked on their marketing strategy, and then I'm looking at their mindset, I'm like, you know what? You need to recharge and let go. I just had a client who did that exact same thing. I'm like, don't be doing any work. And then she walked away. She came back and she's like, yeah, I just got my, first $10,000 client. And that's the beauty of allowing yourself to let go and be in the flow and allowing, your outer world not to dictate your circumstances. Because I'm sure you've worked with entrepreneurs where they're looking at their bank account. They're saying, I'd really like to invest in you, but money is really tight, kind of that language pattern that really creates that belief. So what do you also say to those people that, it's such a reoccurring pattern and theme? You had talked about, there's 3 types of people, but what about those people that, they are in their head, they have to, they're just giving themselves excuses as to why they can't play on a bigger scale?
First of all, there's usually going to be some type of no when you're going through this. That's our first response because you're asked to take a risk. And I have found that it depends on what no that form comes in. So if the form is okay, so how does this look as far as payment or something like that, then that's someone who just needs some of the details to move forward, but they're already see themselves working with me. And then the other one is one that comes up with lots and lots of excuses. And what I see for that person is that if this was something that a family member needed, that person would go ahead and find out how to make it happen for that other family member no matter what. But they always put themselves on a back burner and put their needs on the bottom of the list, or maybe even let it fall off the list whatsoever, because as entrepreneurs, we're service professionals. We are wired to take care of other people first. And my place is that if this is something that's meant to be happening, I want to be able to take a stand for you so that you can say yes to yourself. And it's not that it's an opportunity to work with me. It's that we've created this space together so that you can actually do your work and do this for yourself. And I just get to co-partner with you. So that's my come from.
I love that. Yeah. And just kind of helping people to kind of break it down.
Yeah.
I like to take the fear and the risk for people because let's face it, people have been burnt. They feel just especially, I don't know how you feel, but, I'm never going to mention any names, but, there's people in our industry, which, really they're just trying to sell something and really don't have a value on people. And I think that's really, really important when you're looking to work with someone, know that they're really having your back. And I find that not to be the case in this industry, but I feel, we're here to be the good ones.
Absolutely, Heather. And what I would say is that when these entrepreneurs really step up in that way, it's not really just them. Their family gets affected. They are able to help more people. They are going to show up in a much bigger way and serve with more impact, more influence than if they were trying to figure out on their own, or if they continue to play small. I mean, I believe that those entrepreneurs that continue to play small and stay in their safety zone, they are doing a disservice for those people who absolutely need what they have to offer. And they are hiding because it's comfortable and safe for them. And they're letting those people who are looking for them continue to struggle with whatever they could be helping them with.
Right. No, I definitely agree. I just love this message. And I think people really need to hear this, that you could look at a business and it's, you could look at someone's success. It's not cookie cutter. There's going to be some messy things. Just expect it. Expect to embrace the pain and the pleasure of the pursuit of what you want to do. And this has been, really inspiring, I know, for people that are doubting themselves. And if I could say one thing to people today, it's invest in your inspiration, get a coach, get a mentor, know that you are worth something. And there's always a way to find the money. In our worst economy, one of our worst economies, and I say this all the time, it's like back in 2008, when the stock market took a huge dive. I remember being in an Apple store going, this is really interesting. We've got this economy crash, yet people are in an Apple store, which is a high-end product, spending thousands of dollars whipping out their credit card, and simply meaning, people will pay for what they value, and not to, devalue yourself. And, when people are putting themselves out there saying, well, no one's going to pay for this because of this or that, it's just really what you believe.
I'm fully right there with you. And the bottom line is, just like you, I continue to do my own work and work with my own coach also, because it's an evolution and I get to pass forward the things that I learned from my coach onto my clients. So it's all a give.
I love that. And before we leave today, I know you have an amazing gift for our viewers and listeners, and you can actually go down to the show notes below, but if you could share what that is.
Yes, I created a free ebook that I have especially for our listeners. It is called Grow Your Ideal Business. What it does is it goes into the 5 steps that I believe is going to really help you to catapult your business in a way that serves your clients and is profitable, so it supports your lifestyle as well. What it covers is really getting clarity about your vision, looking at how to be able to clear the clutter, so that inner work that you need to do, recognizing that confidence is overrated and that you don't need to be confident to be able to move forward, how to be able to take charge of your agenda, and the last one is creating your dream team. So those are the 5 steps that the Grow Your Ideal Business book goes ahead and helps you get started with, and it's at businesssuccesssolution.com/free.
Oh, actually, I think the video cut out. So could you say that URL again?
Yes, it's at businesssuccesssolution.com/free book.
Free book. Okay, great. And for those that missed it, you can just go in the show notes and click on the link, and you'll get free access to Loren's ebook. Loren, thank you so much for being a guest today.
Much fun, Heather. I am so appreciative for you doing this, for you offering this to the people that are listening, because I know that it is touching people's lives and making a difference.
Absolutely. And I just want to leave our viewers and listeners with one thought. It's really actually a challenge. I want to challenge you to be better. Do something that is out of your comfort zone. Go out. If you don't have a mentor or coach and you think, well, I can't afford it, stop telling yourself a lie and start, really getting yourself on the path of doing that, because that is going to allow you to step into, that next level of your business evolution, whatever that looks like for you. So thanks everyone for tuning in today. And one more favor, if you could do me a huge favor, because this is really important for my message and mission getting out there. If you could rate, review, and subscribe to this show, both on iTunes and YouTube. If you do double the work, I'm going to give every 100th person that says, hey, I've done that, I'll give you a free copy of my book, Woman on Fire Entrepreneur. Just, send me a screenshot. So that's it, folks. Have an amazing day, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care. So if you found this show to be helpful, please hashtag WOFE, that stands for Woman on Fire Entrepreneur, and subscribe to this show in iTunes and leave me a review. I want to know how these shows have helped you. I also want to know the number one thing that you're struggling with the most in your business. Every week, I give away complimentary sessions to help you get it clear on your next steps and to activate your money mojo. You can learn more about my work if you go to www.heatherpicken.com.